to have it. So I ordered, and I think probably about 2 days in, I really started to feel what was happening with me. So I am a busy mom of three. I've got three dogs, husband. We are at a super busy season of life. We've got football, softball, soccer, basketball, travel baseball team, all the things, right? So I'm literally being pulled in tons of different directions, and I have a little bit of trouble focusing sometimes. And what I noticed was I was able to get tasks done, like weird tasks, like using my calendar for some reason. Okay, my best friend, she is so good about putting everything into the calendar. She's like, oh, don't do this. Or she would send me reminders, be like, hey, don't forget, send the kids with $5 for popcorn and hat day. I would always forget, but she was putting it into her calendar. And so what I found myself doing was like being able to sit down and do things like enter those things into my calendar so I could actually keep track and then keep my household running. So those little things I really noticed, and I was like, oh man, this is good. This is really, really good. And it made me really, really excited. And I felt that feeling that I had whenever I very first started. And I knew that I wanted to try and get this into as many hands as possible. And so that's literally what I did. Um, my favorite way to explain how it makes me feel too is I really just feel happy. I do you know how I don't know like where you are states wise, but Arkansas, the weather is crazy. Like it's literally a running joke. You never know what type of weather you're going to get. In December, it could be 70 degrees, or you could have, 12 inches of snow and it'd be overcast and gloomy. So they call it like the winter blues, right? When it's overcast for several days in a row and you just feel like just kind of down, right? So that's how I was feeling. And then I noticed when I was taking it, it felt like the sun was shining. And that's my favorite way to explain it. It's like whenever the sun pops out in the middle of winter and you get one of those warm December days and you're like, oh, I do like my life. Like I am happy. So that's my favorite way to explain of how it's really made me feel. It's just joyous. And I just love that. My experience is going to be different than what a lot of people's are. And one of the reasons that I wanted to bring Becca on is because her experience is completely different than mine, but so life altering. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to Becca and let her share what it's done for her and her family.
Hey, beautiful people. My name is Becca. I'm from Arkansas. They said in the comments there that we have more people in the waiting room.
I got them all. They're
Okay.
coming in now.
So, I have been pretty crunchy since I had some issues with some medication years ago. I say I'm scrunchy because like I want grass-fed beef, but I'm going to get my nails and lashes done. And so as far as it goes for our family, we're pretty natural and holistic with what we do. But it all started when my daughter was diagnosed with autism and severe ADHD and sensory processing disorder. And I want to say everybody is different. If you met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. For us, when you have a little girl, like you have all these amazing thoughts of what that life is going to be. Like you plan everything out. Like we're going to have fun prom dress hunting, homecoming, um, sleepovers, all the fun things. And so when we got the diagnosis, um, it was hard for me as a mom because I realized those things weren't in the cards for us that a lot of people have. And that's how I found Andrea is because I ended up getting her on CBD in fifth grade. I live in a tiny town in Arkansas. Everyone said I was getting my daughter high. I was like, it costs a little more than that, buddy, but that ain't what we're doing. So we started out with that journey, and now she's 19. We have been trying to find something else that can help because she is getting older and doses are just different for her, especially with hormones going on. But um, Andrea told me about PHIX. And what's crazy is TikTok was covering up the vagus nerve stimulation to my husband's account. It wasn't on my account, but it was on his account. So he'd been talking about the vagus nerve like crazy. And I was like, well, okay. And then I asked Andrea, I'm like, well, what does PHIX do? And she's like, it stimulates the vagus nerve. And as soon as I told that to my husband, he was like, get it right now. You need to try it. And I was like, okay. Because he had heard it on all the, you trust strangers on the internet and TikTok videos so fast. Like, it takes a minute because if your best friend's like, you're trying to sell me something. But we did trust strangers on the internet for sure. And then, of course, I'm gonna trust Andrea with that. So, one of the first things that happened is I walked into the living room after a couple of days, and my husband was talking to our daughter, and he's like, why are you looking at me so weird? And she has these bright blue eyes. They're gorgeous, but we don't ever see them. Eye contact is something, and if I get emotional, just love me anyways. Thank you for that. Um, we don't really see those eyes a lot. Eye contact is not something um people on the spectrum do. And so my husband was like, why is she staring at me all crazy? She's looking at me weird. And I was like, she's looking at you. Like, that's something everybody does, but no, that's not something we do. So that was the first thing that was noticed, is that the eye contact. Those eyes are just piercing, and you're just like, whoo, blink, sissy. Because like that's exciting. That is exciting. So you're gonna hear some of these and you might be thinking, that's a big deal. The next thing is we are in a tiny town, and she loves her Mexican cheese dip, and that's a staple for her. And she went into the Mexican restaurant to pick some up, and I get a call from one of my friends, and she said, what are you doing with your daughter? And I was like, what are you, is she, I don't know, tell me what's going on. Like, is this the mom chain? Like, what happened? And she said that she had walked into the Mexican restaurant, and she looked over and she saw my friend and had her kids, and she walked right up to the booth and started a whole conversation. She introduced herself to the ones that she didn't know. And this is someone who would like hide in public. Like, if we saw her principal, she would hide. And I'm not talking years ago, I'm talking a year ago. She would hide in public. She wouldn't want to talk to anybody. So on her own, when I wasn't there, she walks right up to a booth and just starts conversating. So much so that my friend picked up the phone and called me after. It was like, what is happening? I'm like, I'm trying something new. These new drops, they help with the vagus nerve. Um, and they're really working really good for us. The next thing that also ties into that is she didn't talk a lot. She wasn't nonverbal. She just didn't talk very much. And Andrea has witnessed this on a call. And I've had friends, and she just like, she could be around the conversation, but she was never in the conversation. And I know I was talking to my girl, my barista, and she was telling me a story, and Sissy's like, we got to go, we're going to be late for a nail appointment. Like, she's aware of time now. And then we pull away and she's talking about something, and I was like, what? She was still on task and focused on what the barista had said. That had never happened before. It was like, it's kind of like on 40 First Dates, like 10-second Tom. We couldn't carry on past a conversation to continue it if we moved away. That's how severe the ADHD was. So she didn't talk very much. And that was fine. She talks now. And she talks a lot now. My husband was like, stop giving her the snaps. Because we were so used to the house being quiet and like no, not a lot of conversation. And this is something that I have wanted forever. I've wanted a teenage daughter that's going to talk my ear off. I really truly have. And now I have it. And I'm like, I need to snap because I'm a little overstimulated myself. She is feeling so good. and she feels herself. And then on top of that, her digestion is on point. And if you know a kid with sensory issues, you know their food is limited. For backstory, between the ages of 18 months and 5 years old, she was 23 pounds. This is before her diagnosis. We couldn't figure out what it was. And if she hadn't discovered chicken nuggets, I don't know what would have happened. Good thing and then I was a single mom, so I was getting a McChicken at McDonald's and cutting it into quarters and telling all my kids they were chicken nuggets. Like we had to do what we had to do back then. But we were able to finally get some weight put on her. But with that, it's not the healthiest diet. She has been trying new foods and new textures without me even asking her. She's like, "Can I have a bite?" And I'm just like, "Who is this kid?" Because she's doing it. So her digestive system has also got a jump start. So the best way I can explain PHIX for her life is it's like you just put jumper cables on that vagus nerve, and it activated some switch in there that has really changed our household. Um, and I'm so thankful that I have Andrea in my life and that I listen to her. And the only thing that I would change is I would have joined her in February and not waited till May. And so it has been such a blessing and a huge opportunity and to meet not just Chris and Danielle, but the entire team here. And I love every single one of them that I have been able to meet. So if you really have nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose. And I want to encourage you, like, just give it a shot. You'll be so thankful.